Welcome to Just Jen, the podcast. Today, it's Just Jen and Steven Spies. I'm so excited to have Steven Spies on here. Steven is an Emmy Award-winning composer whose work has brought heart and soul to stories across Netflix, Apple TV, Hulu, Prime Video, and many others. From scoring the acclaimed Netflix series Lost Ollie, featuring Blige and Jonathan Groff, to composing for Trash Truck, Ultraman Rising, immersive VR experiences for Apple Vision Pro and MetaQuest, and recording with orchestras in London, LA, and Budapest, Steven's work truly spans every format and emotion. I've known Steven since our days at UCLA, which we'll get into, and this is the show's very first episode in person. All right, just a heads up, this podcast used to be called Behind the Now, so if you do hear that name come up in the episode, which I think you will, just ignore it, or just replace it with Just Jen in your head, which is the current title of the show. All right, that's enough of me. Let's dive in.
Cheers to doing a podcast in person.
Yes. So I'm with Steven Spies, and this is the first episode that is in person, so it's really exciting, and we just spent some time setting up everything. And Steven is a film composer, sound designer. He has worked on hundreds of projects. He's won an Emmy, which is right over there. Steven, thank you so much for doing this. And this is his space. This is where he works all the time.
That's right.
Yeah, you could see all his instruments and everything.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Anytime.
So Steven and I actually know each other from UCLA.
Way back.
We took
dinosaur class. It was the best.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Dinosaurs, and there was just like endless slides.
We had homework to watch Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Oh my god. Did we?
Yeah. Oh no, you know what?
I don't know.
No, it wasn't homework.
Oh, it was like in class.
No, it was like there was one night when we all had to live and he was like, if you want to come, we'll just have like a Jurassic Park screening and then we'll just roast how badly they animated the dinosaurs.
Oh wow.
And that was like part of the class.
And I remember the exams where there were like fossils sitting in a room and you would have to identify them.
It was actually super cool.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It was harder than you think. And occasionally I think there'd be, really rarely, but occasionally there'd be a sticker on the bottom that tells you what it is, like the whole thing, and that would be like a whole and then they started to tell us not to look under them.
Yeah.
You know? You're like, oh.
Yeah.
And then I also remember all the dinosaur names.
Yeah.
You would always be like, that's a great name for a band.
Oh my god, all of them were.
And you were like writing them.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah. So we're gonna start from the beginning, okay? So how did you get into film composing at all? Like, does your family do anything creative or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Well, okay, so both of them were musicians. Mm-hmm. So they play in the La Peña chorus, which was a community chorus in Berkeley. So like a lot of the instruments I have here are actually the guitar and the charango and like that's actually a lot of like the first music when I was, before I could talk, was like singing along. They would have their chorus practices at our house, and I would just like sing along.
Wow, that's so cool.
I heard the melodies.
To have parents that like just have people over and like you hear music. And stuff.
Yeah. So they
cool.
they didn't do it for like a living or anything, but they did it for fun, and they played music all the time. And we would go to a family camp around New Year's, like the week leading up to New Year's.
Okay.
And it was like a folk music camp, so it was all like Americana music and folk songs, Irish folk songs and things like that. And so I was learning like fiddle tunes and that was actually the first music I was learning was that stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I started out playing violin at 5 years old, the first stuff I was learning was like folk tunes and folk songs. And
this is in Northern California, right?
Yeah.
Berkeley. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get into film composing a bit more.
Yeah.
So I know you studied that at UCLA, right?
Yeah.
What was that journey to decide I'm going to study this in college and then?
Like one of my earliest memories is being a little kid. My dad sat me down and said, you got to listen to this. And he put on the Jurassic Park soundtrack by John Williams. Mm-hmm. I remember listening to that soundtrack and going, why does it feel like I'm flying? I don't know how I feel like I'm flying, but somehow like listening to this music makes me literally feel like I'm in the air flying. And ever since I've been like, I need to figure out how to do that. How do I make music that makes you feel like you're flying? Like, how do I do that? I want to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
John Williams in general. So, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, all the best films. I mean, he's the GOAT. He's the best one.
Yeah.
And like, I used to stay up late at night, like just on YouTube watching all the videos behind the scenes of him working with the orchestra, him scoring and I've always been like, I want to do that. I want to work with orchestras. I want to conduct him. I want to make people feel like they're flying. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to freaking figure it out because it's like my favorite thing in the world.
I really love that. So early on in that moment, you recognized there was like a visceral, like something from music,
100%.
right? You were like, that's funny because flying is the exact same description that I gave for like acting when it feels good. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So
like flying because it's like very
flying.
free.
Yeah.
Like when it's, like you feel that, you know what I mean?
Is
You're
that
very
like acting
free.
in theater stuff or in film?
Honestly, both. Yeah. When you're really, that's literally that. That was like the description. I have that written down probably somewhere.
Wait, do you really?
And it's crazy that you have that from music.
Okay, I'm gonna reverse the interview right now. Wait, so what got you into acting?
I always wanted to.
Yeah.
I did musical theater early on, and then I competed in dance in high school.
Oh, cool.
But I was in Orange County, and it's not like I wasn't like it's not like the same as LA and auditioning and stuff. So at UCLA, I did theater and film and communications.
Oh, cool.
Theater and film minors. And then I went to a studio in my last semester at UCLA and afterwards for about 3 years. And that's like where I got my, really like dug in.
What's been your favorite moment acting?
Favorite moment?
Favorite moment on set?
I think a lot of them I've been in like a little black box theater.
Is there like a specific musical or play or something you were in where you're like, oh, this is the best?
I loved working on a play called Proof. There's a role in there called Catherine. Her name's Catherine.
Yeah.
And like working on that was really like.
What's Catherine's deal? What's up with her?
Catherine's deal. You're really switching this.
Yeah.
Catherine is. She and her sister, their dad is a genius, a mathematical genius, and he's recently passed away. It's not actually specified what he had, but he went like crazy.
Yeah.
And Catherine has that. Like she's also a math genius.
Yeah.
But she dropped out of college to take care of her dad.
Yeah.
And she's now wondering on some level, this is not like the whole thing, but it's part of it.
Yeah.
Am I crazy? Do I have like what my dad has? And I've been avoiding doing math the whole time, you know? Like I gave it up. I'm like, I'm not touching this stuff.
Yeah.
So I like that one. That's
it's funny.
It's really
just
well
listening
written.
to you talk about that, the way you quickly switched from talking about Catherine to saying I did this.
At first.
I almost gave up math. Like, and I was like, wait. Are you talking about yourself now? Or were you like into math? And then I realized, no, you're just in the character. Like
I was trying.
You're just feeling that moment of,
I don't know. I was trying to keep it in. Actually, I didn't realize it, but I don't know.
Yeah. No, but I think that's what's so cool about it. It's like you embody this character. You embody this feeling of like, I am you now. I am in this person's shoes.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like when I'm working on something specific, it's always I without thinking. But this was like some time ago, and also I'm like telling you.
Yeah.
And so obviously I'm like that.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't know. It wasn't on,
It's cool how blurry that gets, right? It's like where it's like, oh shoot, I'm becoming this character all of a sudden. Well, but I think that's so okay. Bringing it back to music.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like the same thing. Like that feeling of flying comes from I am so inside of the moment right now, inside of this character or inside of this piece of music. I'm so in the moment right now that like literally the house could be burning down and I would still be playing. Right? Like, it's just that feeling is like the best feeling in the world.
That is the best.
Yeah.
Try like walk me through the process from start to finish. So you have a project.
The process of film composing, there's no one way to do it.
Yeah.
So I've had all three of these things happen. I've been brought in on pre-production where it's like, hey, we have a script. Read over the script. Let me know what you think. What kind of music would you imagine for this? What do you think will get us in the world? Sometimes the music even helps inspire the story. I've had times where I'm working in the pre-production phase and I'm writing tracks to a script. And they'll hear the track, they'll go, oh, wow, this gives me a whole new idea for this character. And then, like, the script will change and it'll go a whole new direction. That's the most exciting thing. That's my favorite. My favorite is when I get brought in really super early. And I can just be, like, writing music without...
music is so powerful.
Oh
like,
my
if
gosh,
you've ever watched something... like when you hear it without music and then you hear it, it's like it changes everything.
Oh,
it's
have you
so
seen
incredible.
the Star Wars video?
I think long ago. It illustrates that.
There's
right?
a video of the throne scene in Star Wars where they go up and they get their awards, and someone took the music out. I guess they used AI to take the music out. And it is the most awkward scene in the freaking world. It is so awkward.
Yeah.
It's like without John Williams' music, it's just like people sitting there silently and you hear some coughs.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And that's true acting wise too, because you don't have an awareness of what that's going to look like in the end.
Yeah.
And the sound and everything, but then you'll see it later and you'll be like, wow. Because like with the music, you're like, it makes you look better too.
For sure.
Way better. Yeah.
It makes everything better. Yeah.
Music in general is so impactful.
Yeah.
Like it's obviously so impactful that when it's really good, it makes a huge difference. And when it's really bad, it makes a difference.
Totally
so that's, so the process. So, you said one way was when you're brought in early. Yeah. And pre-production.
Brought in early, pre-production, you start with a script and you're just writing ideas of what you think could work for it. And oftentimes those ideas don't even end up making it into the final film, but it helps like just start on a direction and figure it out.
Okay.
During production is less often the case that I'm brought in because usually during production everyone's too busy to think about a composer.
Right, they're just like on set.
It's happened a couple times where they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm in production, but I'm gonna need a composer," and I'll be like, "Okay, send me something like a script or whatever." Pretty rare that happens. And then post production, I'm often brought in at post production. Like, okay, we've shot it. Here's a rough cut. Let's do what's called a spotting session. This happens with every film I've ever scored. There's going to be a spotting session. So you're going to sit down with the director, maybe producers, maybe some other people. You're going to watch through the film together. I'll have a Google Doc or something, and I'll just, we'll all just talk about what should the music be here.
Yeah. And are you speaking it in terms of like emotions, I would say? Yeah, because they don't know 100%. The technical aspects of it, right?
It's always very emotions focused. It's very much like, what's going through the character's head? What are they feeling? What are you not seeing on screen? Yeah, and so I'll watch the rough cut. We'll jump onto a spotting session. We'll go through the film. We'll go scene by scene. We'll talk about what emotions are happening here, what's going through the character's head, what are we trying to say with the music, what's the music going to say that the film's not already saying with the edit or the acting or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Or oftentimes it'll be like, say that someone is really, really stressed out, but they're like trying to seem normal at like a party or something.
Yeah.
So you might see them smiling and acting normal, but if the music sounds like stressful, it'll tell the audience, ooh, there's something more going on in their head.
That. Like, you can work opposite, whatever.
Yeah. So often the music is like very storytelling based like that. Like it's just telling you the undercurrent of what's going on behind the scenes.
That's so cool.
Or it could be the opposite. Maybe the music sounds happy to like go along with the outward presentation, even though something's up, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I guess the genre wise that changes so much, right?
Oh,
because if it's like horror, and then like you're seeing a bright, happy little and something's about to go wrong, and that's probably mostly from the music.
Oh man, well with horror movies, the thing that makes a scene scary in a horror movie is silence. Oh man, and then the music usually accentuates once, like the way you make a jump scare really, really good is maybe you had music playing and then all of a sudden the music stops. And now all you hear is just breathing.
Yeah, right. You always
and
hear
the lights flickering. You're just hearing that flickering light, and that's it. It's like, oh shoot, what's gonna happen? And then boom, jump scare. That's when the music just hits, it's like oh man, that's one of my favorite things. They're like trying to make someone jump out of their seat with like a sound. Like I'll hit the guitar and then like make some crazy sounds and anyway, I love scoring horror films.
What are your favorite genres to score in general?
I've done a lot of kids content. It's just what I've been asked to do a lot of children's animation. So I did a TV show called Trash Truck. A little boy whose best friend is a big trash truck, and they
this is on Netflix, by the way.
On Netflix, ages 4 and up. It's good for maybe 3 and up. They're friends with a bear and a raccoon, and the best part of that show is the actor who plays Kevin in The Office, and he plays the exact same character in this show, except he's a bear in an animated kids show. But he's like same voice, same same tone, same it's unmistakably him the whole time you're watching. It's like it makes so much sense. They really wanted to go for a very kind of Americana sound. So they wanted a lot of like banjos and mandolins. I'm pointing to them all.
Yeah.
All these instruments were used in that soundtrack.
Oh, wow. So I asked you, I'm like, you used to be like, at least once. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that score alongside some other composers. So it was me, Scott Stafford, and J.J. Weisler and Alexis Hart. So the 4 of us kind of did the soundtrack for that show. and we're all part of a company called Pollen Music Group.
Okay.
And so it was, that whole show was a Pollen Music Group project.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it very collaborative the entire time then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That
So the
was a
whole time, like
super
a spotting
collaborative show to work
session is
on.
like all of you are giving ideas.
Yeah.
It's almost like a writer's room, but for music.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
That's so cool. I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
really
the fun. Yeah, that was the fun part. I mean, going over to the Netflix building, we'd all sit there and we would just be like, what does this scene need? Maybe we want to throw some banjo in there. Maybe it needs something. And then the cool thing about Trash Truck is, so there's a lot of scenes that are this folksy stuff. And then there's a lot of scenes that are also like total orchestra fantasy.
Okay.
So that, you know, there's a scene where the trash truck really wants to fly, but they're like, you're a trash truck, you can't fly, right? But they make a way they like home spin a way for him to fly, where they like lift him up on a tree, and then they have like a cardboard cutout thing that rolls under him, and it makes it feel like he's flying.
Fun.
And then that scene is all folksy, banjos, guitars, you know, mandolins, whatever. And then all of a sudden, Trash Truck starts lifting, and he starts going up into the sky, and that's when it switches over from the folksy sound over to this big orchestral thing. Is it's like, oh, Trash Truck is flying now. He's doing it for real.
That's amazing.
So it was a lot, because the show was like, you know, it's a mix of homespun child fun and then also this wild imaginative stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to go back and forth between those big orchestra and fun folksy sound.
So like, when you're brought in post-production, are you watching it in real time, playing like improv, like making music for it?
Yeah.
Like,
okay. So
like
we didn't even get past the spotting session, did we?
Okay. Yeah. Go on.
So then I go over there to my desk. I put the movie up on my screen and I'll play it, and I'll sit at my keyboard and I'll just jam.
It starts as improv more so than like sitting on like writing on paper.
I know, I haven't written on paper since college. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
most
that.
composers don't. John Williams does. He might be the only one left who does. No, I sit at my keyboard. I'll load up like a string sample or a piano sample, and I'll just watch the movie and just kind of jam along.
Okay, and then are you recording? How do you remember what you're doing?
Yeah, well, so okay. Then it gets recorded with I use Logic. That's the software I use. There's a million different DAWs. And then it records MIDI, which is like the data of the notes I played. And then I can go through and I can kind of split it out. Like, okay, I kind of have a thing going on here with my left hand that could be staccato cellos and bass and everything going on. How about this becomes a trumpet? And then I'll slowly kind of like orchestrate it out and build it out into a full-fledged produced track. And then I'll go through and I'll be like, okay, what can I record? Well, I can record violin here to make the violin sound better. And I can record, banjo here to give it more motion. And it'll be like a mix of, my software plus me recording with my mics. And
one instrument you start with, is that like the final thing for that and you keep building on it? Or is it like I have to redo the guitar part to like make it?
It's both.
Or is it both?
It's both. So sometimes it sounds perfectly good with just the software, and then sometimes it's like, it sounds fine, but I'd rather record it with a real guitar. And then I'll go through and I'll replay that on a real guitar.
Oh my gosh, so fascinating.
Yeah. And then I've had a few projects like this. Sometimes if there's enough budget for the project, you have your mock-ups with maybe some of you and some of software, and then you go, well, let's hear a real orchestra play it. And then that's
I was going to get into that. So, I mean, you've worked with like real, full, like huge orchestras.
It's the best. So it's all in my software, but now it needs to get to a place where musicians can actually read it.
Okay.
So to get there, you need to basically export the data, it's called MIDI, from your software into another program called, I use Dorico is the one I use, but there's Sibelius, Dorico, Finale. Finale's gone now. And then that's what you use to actually create the score and the sheet music for the musicians. That whole process takes a really long time to do, actually. And most composers will have an orchestration team that kind of does that for them. In the case of the soundtracks that I've done, I've always wanted to be my own orchestrator because that's one of my favorite parts of the process is like getting it from the software to the score. So I've done that from maybe when I'm busy enough, I won't be able to do that anymore. But right now, I've always done my own kind of orchestrations.
Yeah, that's so amazing.
So that'll take weeks of just like figuring out, okay, how do I make this into a score, into parts that musicians can read? And then, I've worked with an orchestra in London. I've worked with an orchestra in Budapest. That's the best thing is flying over there and then getting to like hear the orchestra or conduct the orchestra through your music. That's what I live for. That's the best part of the process.
Oh my gosh! And is that normally for films or is it for like live performances? Like tell me. You know?
Yeah, that's for
like
the film.
One.
That's the last kind of part of it.
Oh, it is still part. Okay.
You record the orchestra and then you bring that orchestra mix into your final mix, and then you get that. That's how you get the best. That'll always get you the best sound in a film.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So almost all film has real people by the end.
Well, depending on the budget.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Obviously this is not cheap.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah. I realized.
Yeah, when you're working with an 80-person orchestra in a room,
right? No, I know.
Every minute you're recording is very expensive.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I mean, for any big blockbuster or Netflix film or anything, usually they have the budget to be able to make it happen.
So incredible.
Yeah.
Overall, it sounds like the way you work, you just get right into it and you're already like playing it, and then from there it gets to paper. It's not the other way around.
Very much so.
Interesting. Yeah.
Very much. Yeah, that is the weird thing. It's like you start by playing, then you get it to paper, and then it's more playing. It's kind of a weird. It's like a little sandwich.
Because I think of a parallel with writing, and it would almost be as if like actors came in and we had a circumstance and we improv'd the whole thing, and then the writers were like, "Oh, we like that. That worked. That thing worked. Like, let's keep that." Which is a way to write too.
That is the process. That is 100% the process.
And
at least for me. Not all other composers work different. This is just my process as a composer. I mean, I really value, like we were talking about this before. Anything that keeps you in the moment.
In the moment, yeah.
And like that for me is my favorite part about composing is. Well, two favorite parts. One is sitting at the keyboard and just jamming, just like whatever comes to mind, and that'll get edited and changed. But that's for me, that's like where all of the creative comes from. Just like just sitting and jamming, and then then the other best part is sitting with an orchestra and getting to hear it back.
Are you conducting when it's like orchestra time?
I've done that a couple times, and I've been trying to figure out what I like more. The benefit of listening to it is that you get to really intently focus on what you're hearing. Like, okay, if a horn player is out of tune, or if maybe the string players are playing with too much vibrato, or, any host of things you might hear that you're like, okay, that's not, right. Like you can figure that out. The thing that's nice about conducting is it's just the coolest feeling ever. Like standing in front of an orchestra and
How do you even know how to where do you even learn that?
Thing. Okay, so
it's like a whole other, it's a whole other thing. You don't just know that naturally from knowing composing.
No,
right?
it's a whole conducting is a whole different discipline.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But
I just so I just did a session a few months ago in London. It was an 80 person orchestra. I think it was 80, 70 or 80 person orchestra.
That's big.
All in the room together, which is actually pretty rare now. Like usually you'll record brass separately and strings separately. But for this one, we wanted to do all together, which I like more. Obviously, you get to work with everyone together. You don't have to like piece it together. And I was like, I'm not a good enough conductor for this. This is really nerve-wracking.
Like that? Okay.
Yeah, so I went to a friend of mine who is a conductor and kind of showed me like the ropes of, okay, here's how you conduct the different time signatures. Wow. Here's how you show this or that, how to get louder or softer with an orchestra. Just like some of the basics so I didn't make a total fool of myself.
Yeah. What are the not that you're going to like teach it, but like are they all, everything's through hand gesture?
Yeah.
Like, so it's basically in real time hearing things, and so this gets too loud over here, so you're like telling them it's like in real time moderating everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's like being the director on a film. It's like you're seeing what everyone's doing.
Yeah.
Conducting is a weird one because I mean all that information's in the sheet music, but it's like how you gesture and how you lead. I used to kind of think that conducting was kind of, I don't get the point. It's like the musicians know what to do. And then being on the conductor stand and realizing like how much you need to show the musicians and how much you need to say to like get it to the place you want to get it to. It's actually like the most important job in the orchestra by far. I mean, figuring out what to tell each musician, how to get it to the right artistic place. Like, they can read the sheet music, but there's so many nuances that you need to navigate.
Yeah.
I was so stressed out that day. Like I was sweating. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like shaking going up to the stand. And then when I like got into the flow of it, I was like, wait, this is so much fun.
Oh, wow. How long are you standing up there in one go? Like,
that was a 4-hour session. We record in takes. So we're doing a 1-minute section of music and we'll record it and then we'll stop and then we're doing another.
Okay.
We'll listen back. We'll say, okay, horns need to be louder here, violins less vibrato here, whatever. Okay, let's do another take. And then we keep.
And then you say that they technically know what to do. Yeah. So if this was all, not that I would ever support this or anything, but if this were all like robots following exact, like, is the conductor's role a big part of it because you're in real time? It's like live theater. It's
totally.
Like, okay, so it's like that.
Yeah,
so it's
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing that's funny you mentioned the robots thing, because that's kind of what you get when you're working with the software. Like, you get everything to sound pretty darn good, and pretty accurate. But then what you get when you work with a live orchestra is something that's not perfect, but something that sounds human. Something that sounds like there's the little intonation issues and the little like things being a little off rhythm are what make it sound musical and what make it sound like all the better.
So incredible.
Yeah. So
that just shows no matter what happens, you can never replace humans really in a room like in every aspect of creativity.
Not. I mean, we'll find out with all this AI stuff.
I know, but you're saying but you are saying because you have both versions to really compare where you're like, technically speaking, you can do it all on software and have AI, whatever. Like,
the software, you're doing, you record orchestras playing notes and you try to fake the sound of what it would sound like if they were playing it all together. Okay. It's not perfect. But it sounds a little synthy and a little
So there's
not
still
perfect.
Always an element you're speaking of, though, that's just like irreplaceable by humans doing it in orchestra. Right?
So far.
Yeah.
So far.
I know.
I always say that because you never know what technology is going to bring tomorrow. But right now,
That's really amazing. Do you think regular people would actually hear differences, or it's more like a you thing, or like musicians or composers?
No, people hear differences for sure.
Okay,
I mean, a lot of the film people I work with have no music training at all, and they hear the difference when it's with a real orchestra. Yeah. No, you definitely can hear the difference, 100%.
So, like, when you're collaborating with the director, so it starts obviously very driven by emotions. That's how you can like communicate.
Yeah.
And then you're the one knowing obviously what to use for that type, like for that emotional life, right?
Right, yeah.
So what is it like when they want to, like the back and forth? So they're like, how is it normally expressed to you? Is it like, you know what, I think this is like too happy. And then you're like, you know what that means musically.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Totally.
Because they don't know any technical, like most.
Yeah. Or, I mean, and like I said, I'd rather they not talk technical.
I know.
I'd rather they not tell me like what, like that's my job. I'll figure that out. You tell me what you're going for with your film and what emotion you're trying to hit and what the tone is, and I'll figure out how to make that happen musically. They'll say this scene it's about the warmth between the family and their connection, but I don't want it to feel like Hallmarky. I don't want it to feel so happy and so over the top that it's like a Hallmark card.
Like very on the nose with what's going on.
So how can you give the idea that it's a warm scene, they're happy, but it's not so over the top that it feels cheap or generic? And then it'll be my job to figure out, okay, what instruments can I use to get there? So maybe I do want to use strings, I do want to use violin and cello, but maybe I don't want to use a full section because that'll just make it sound so over the top that it's so maybe I just want to use like a small section, just like 2 violins and a viola and a cello, and just keep it really, really intimate, and that'll almost make it even more emotional because it's not so insanely over the top.
Yeah.
Like that'll be the type of thinking that goes through my head a lot of the time when I'm getting that sort of a note from a director.
Okay, amazing. And how long does this whole process take from start to finish generally? I guess it depends on the project.
On the length. Yeah, it depends on the length of the project. I mean, for a short film, usually a few weeks, and then for a longer film or for a TV show, it could be months.
Yeah,
it could be as much as a year.
Sense.
It could. I've had projects where we need something by tomorrow. Can you whip something up tonight? And that's always fun because it's just like, how fast can I just do something?
Yeah, and you can't overanalyze it, I guess, too much.
And then I've also had projects that have just gone on for a really long time.
Everything exists.
Anything. Yeah.
So you won an Emmy for Lost Ollie.
Lost Ollie, yes.
Which is also a limited series on Netflix.
Yes,
and it's so beautiful and so cute.
Did you watch it?
I have, yeah.
Oh, no way. What did you think?
Amazing.
You loved it?
Yeah, and also it stars Jake Johnson and Gina Rodriguez.
Yeah.
But tell me the process for that. Like, what was how did that go?
Yeah, Lost Ollie, I scored that with co-composer Scott Stafford as additional music on episodes 1, 2, and 4, and then as a full co-composer on episode 3. He would come up with an idea and send it to me, and then I would finish it, or I would come up with an idea and send it to him, and he would finish it, or sometimes he would take a cue and I would take a cue. And the cool thing about that show, it's a mixed live action and animation.
Right.
So you have the dolls, the toys are animated running around, but then everyone else, it's live people, live scenery, live everything.
I figured, yeah.
And the fun thing about that show is that in some ways it's kind of a kid's show because it's about dolls running around, but in other ways it's really not a kid's show. Like it's very dark and very dramatic at times, and it deals with some really like heavy subjects, dealing with loss, dealing with all sorts of things. So it really gave, as a composer, a lot of room to have a huge emotional range. Oh, wow. So sometimes the music is really fun and we're on an adventure and things are happening, and then other times it's like the music's really soft and laid back and intimate and reflective because there's something really emotional or really dramatic going on. One of my favorite moments to score, there's a scene where someone you've just found out is a bad guy. I'm going to try to not give away too much. Someone you've just found out is a bad guy. Now the whole like first half of episode 3 is all about making you care about that guy. This person who you've just found out is like actually is kind of evil and has bad intentions. Now the whole first episode is like, but why did he get like that? And what made him that way? And that whole first half of the episode, there's hardly any dialogue. It's almost all just following him and his story and just montage after montage of what made him that way. And so the music is like, how can you make us sympathize with this person we're supposed to hate as much as possible and make you kind of love him, and even though you know that like he's kind of, what he's doing is kind of wrong. And I know you know what I'm talking about because you've seen the show, but
No, but it's cool, like because like in that exact, for that purpose, like serving the story, that was mostly relying on the music to actually achieve that. Right. That's amazing.
And so it's, you know, it's interesting because it's like for a kid's show, having that kind of a thing is such a dramatic thing to have. So you have this scene where this guy, you know, after he's been through something horrible, puts his life back together and starts out on an adventure to find the one that he lost. And it's a toy on an adventure, so you would expect it to be fun animated kid show music. But it's actually like really heartfelt, kind of serious music. And then also just that whole scene, it's a lot of a mix of me playing banjos and guitars and my violin playing fiddle, like a fiddle type of sound, Irish folk type of sound. Plus, you know, we worked with the Budapest Orchestra for this. So you hear that orchestra sound rising underneath this folksy sound happening. Yeah.
I want to shift a little, talk a bit about sound design. Is that like a completely different world? Because you also do sound design.
Yeah, no, I do sound design here and there occasionally on projects. It's basically everything that's not music that you hear in the film.
Everything. Yeah. So, does that include like Foley art?
Foley, it includes. Okay.
So that's a bigger umbrella term.
Yeah, and the bigger the film is, you'll have this split up into more jobs, right? So you might have a Foley artist, you might have a sound designer, you might have a mixer. But on an independent project, you might just have one person who does all of it, right? It just depends on the... So sound design, it's like... how does the background sound? How does the environment sound? How do people sound when they speak? How does people's footsteps sound? Anything. All the sounds that are not the music, that's the sound designer and the mixer. But usually the mixer is then just taking the music and the sound design and putting it all together and making it work.
Cool. And then for people who want to do what you're doing, maybe they're students, maybe not. What's like some advice you can give to... do you think it's the kind of thing you must study in college, number one? Or like, are there many composers who are self-taught?
Okay, yes.
Because filmmaking, obviously, you don't need to go to film school. So,
For film composing, you do not need to go to college. No.
Oh, okay.
You can. It worked out well for me. I loved being in college. But no, there's no reason you would need to go to college to be a film composer. The best advice I can give is just the advice that worked for me. So I'll just tell you what I did, and hopefully that you can, whoever is interested in doing this can take that into their own lives. For me, you know, I got to UCLA. I was like, I really just want to be a film composer. I don't know how to do it. I need to figure it out. I need to find some filmmakers So in order to learn how to do it, I need to find some filmmakers who are making films and try scoring their films and see what happens. The first film I scored was the one you were in.
Yeah.
It was a student film.
The music was excellent.
Thank you. For that film, I barely knew how to use my Pro Tools software, and I was figuring it out. And so
okay, did you have your own software, or was that through the program at UCLA that you
Yeah, so you're gonna have to buy some sort of software.
Yeah.
I was using Pro Tools at the time. I now would suggest Logic.
Okay,
it's the cheapest software. It's very easy to use. It's very user friendly. But yeah, I was like, I need to figure this out. So I like played in a guitar part. I hit up my friend who had just met at UCLA, like, hey, could you play cello on a soundtrack? And he was like, yeah, sure. And and then I recorded myself playing some violin on it. And, but it was my first time doing anything like that. And I just loved it. And I was like, I want to do this again. And I definitely had a lot to learn back then. I didn't really understand how a spotting session worked. I didn't really know how to talk to a director.
That makes sense.
But I kind of figured it out by just doing it.
Yeah.
I really think that's the best way to figure it out.
That's the best advice. To just make your own. I guess find filmmakers and score for them.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Find filmmakers and score their films. And so that's what I joined all the film clubs on UCLA, FPS, DK. That's probably, did I meet you in FPS? I met you in one of those.
Yeah, I think so.
I joined all the film clubs on campus. I met as many film students as I could. And then I was just like, give me anything.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for any money. I probably scored over 200 films at UCLA. No joke.
Wow.
Yeah, I probably scored over 200 films. I didn't get paid for any of it. I just wanted to learn.
Yeah.
I just wanted to figure it out. 200 films later, I was like, I think I kind of know how to do this thing now.
Yeah.
But it just was a lot of trying things, experimenting, trying different. The other big thing was learning a lot about film really helps.
Okay.
As a musician, you figure out how to write music, but knowing a lot about what happens on a film set and how scripts are and how spotting set. It's good to know that stuff just because when you're talking to film directors, they'll bring up a lot of that stuff, and knowing that terminology is super helpful. So I was, being a PA on film sets often, just to learn how to hold a boom, how to, help out with cast. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you don't think of it.
Yeah. And there were a couple films I edited and shot. They were terrible, but I just needed to learn how to do that. Right. I needed to learn how that whole process works because it's all connected with filmmaking. How the edit is will influence the music, how the music is will influence the whatever, right?
Just understanding the role of music and composition and everything. Composition or composing? Is it both? Yeah, okay. But just understanding how it fits into the bigger picture of film, right? So you kind of know this is what everyone else is doing and how they're thinking of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And just getting used to talking with more directors and producers and how they like to talk, how they like to talk about films, how they like to talk about edits. It's just good to know.
Okay, that's incredible. I'm going to ask you just a few random fun questions. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you were an athlete, what sport would you play?
If I was an athlete, what sport would I play? I was just talking about this with Kate, my wife Kate, by the way.
Yeah.
I've never done it before. I really want to try pole vaulting. It looks so much fun.
Is it because is it from the Olympics?
The flying thing, right? No.
No, but did it get in your head because of the Olympics?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it does look fun.
Oh my God, it looks so, you literally stab the thing into the ground and then jump 20 feet in the air.
And then get to the pole part and just not do the rest.
Yeah.
You have to do the rest, but I'm just saying.
Oh, it's so scary.
Yeah, you think it's so scary.
Oh my God, and the scariest part is then coming down. There's a big pole under you. You don't want to hit it. Oh my gosh. It looks frightening as heck, but it looks so much fun.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I would love to. I would someday.
Okay, so pole vaulting.
100%.
What's your favorite sound? Do you have a favorite sound?
Ooh, that's a hard question for me to answer.
I know.
I can tell you my least favorite sound.
Go for it. What's your least favorite sound?
I hate chewing noises.
Okay.
It's actually when I do sound design on projects where they need, I just did sound design on a project where there's a scene where it's we want the chewing to be really gross to show that this other vampire character thinks that it's gross that they're eating food. It's I'll do it, but this is going to bother the crap out of me. Wow. Oh my God. And trying to put in bad chewing noise sounds. Oh my God. Just thinking about it, was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Interesting. Yeah. Is that like when you were little? Has that always been like a thing?
Oh
you
yeah.
hate?
Oh yeah. My
wow.
family makes so much fun of me for it. I'd have trouble being at the dining room table. I have a huge problem with.
Okay, so this is a real thing. Yeah.
When I'm like indoors with people and it's just like all you can hear is chewing noise. Oh my God, it freaks me out.
One of my sisters I know has always hated the sound of someone chewing a banana specifically.
No, I have a friend who hates the sound of a banana chewing. Yeah, bananas never bother. I hate ones that are like really loud. Like, I don't like the sound of. Oh no, I do like the sound. What do I do like the sound of? I love the sound of waves crashing.
That's a good one.
There's a place up here in PV, Palos Verdes, where you can go, Terranea, where you go down to the beach, and the waves come up on the rocks, and then they like slide down. You just hear the waves going through each rock as they slide. It's the most beautiful sound in the world.
That's so cool. You've really, So you met your wife at UCLA. You guys were both music, composing.
Yeah.
Tell us I love stories like that. So just go for it.
No, we both were in the same film club, DKA. And we were both music composition majors at UCLA. And so we were both scoring films, and, the choice was either we compete for films or we score them together. And so we chose the latter, and we started scoring films together, and then we started going on dates together. And
so
then we started dating, And so both of us scored tons and tons of films at UCLA together.
Yeah.
We would have scoring sessions together. We'd get all our friends who are musicians in this music school, bring them into the music studio. And we would have our own scoring sessions where we would have the directors in there, and we would record an orchestra for a film, and we would conduct together.
Yeah.
And we would,
cute.
One of us would conduct while the other would listen to the other person's score. And we just...
Was it hard at first? Were you ever like... I don't know, in conflicts, was you have different opinions creatively, like to do this versus that? Never? Oh,
Never.
That's amazing.
Because both of us are big improvisers. Okay. And so for us, it was always, and even still, when we score films together, it's a jam.
That's amazing.
One of us sits at
and
the
you probably know each other
piano.
so well now that it's so seamless.
I mean, that's how we came up with all our film scores. We would just like put the... this is back at UCLA. We would just put the film up on the screen, and we would sit at a piano together, and we would just play. And we would just, until we found something we liked, and then we would record it.
That's so magical.
Yeah.
Like, it's really that's like such a cool story.
It was really
That could be a film in itself, that story.
Totally.
And then this podcast is called Behind the Now, but I always ask, how do you be the now, which is up to your interpretation.
Up to my interpretation, what that means.
Well, like most people, I guess it's more like, how do you stay present, or how? But it is up to your interpretation. If
That's a hard question to answer. How do I be the now?
Well,
it's funny you say that, because I'm such a person who is always in the future. I'm a very constantly thinking about, what am I doing next? Where am I going next? What am I trying to accomplish? I'm a very future person. So I struggle with the now. Although when you say be the now, what I immediately think of is what we were talking about before, that flying feeling you get when you love something you're doing.
You're definitely present when you're composing. That's it for you.
Yeah.
I would say,
So when I'm sitting at a piano just improvising, of course I feel very in the moment. When I'm playing with my band, when I'm performing, oh man, the feeling of performing in front of an audience, it's like a rush of adrenaline. I mean, anything that makes you feel like you can't even remember what happened in the past, and you can't even think about what's in the future. You're just so focused on what's going on right now. Follow that. That is the thing that you need to follow and capture, and see how you can keep doing it, because to me, that's just how I feel the happiest, when I'm constantly doing things that make me feel in the moment. Yeah.
And I think the other little aspect in there is that you lose sense of time, I think. It's not like
100%.
You don't know if it's been whatever. Yeah.
If there's something you did where you looked at the clock and now it's been 5 hours and you didn't even realize it. That's probably your thing. That's probably your bug. That's probably what you need to go after. Where can our listeners find you? Find your work? I mean, obviously you have shows on Netflix, but if someone's like, I want to work with him, I want to learn more about him, where can they go? Okay, so stevenspies.com, at Steven Spies, or at Steven Spies Music on whatever platform you like to use.
Perfect.
You'll find all the stuff I've scored, all the stuff I've worked on. Obviously, my band, Hello Noon, we're on Spotify, we're on Instagram, we're on all the things. Go listen. We have 3 albums out. We have music videos on YouTube.
How did Hello Noon come together, and like what was the development of that?
At UCLA, I was doing a music outreach thing where we would go to a school in Compton and we would teach instrument lessons like percussion, violin.
You were doing that while at UCLA?
Yeah. You do it once a week. You get some scholarship money. It was just a good way to help pay for school. And literally my first day doing it, the driver was like, "Oh, I'm going to be the percussion teacher there." And I was like, "Oh, do you play drum set?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Do you want to start a band?" And he was like, "Sure."
Oh,
that was the beginning of Hello Noon.
And is is he still in the band?
Yeah, he's still the drummer, Kyle. He's great.
That is amazing.
And so, then it just kind of grew from there. And we're like, well, we need a singer. And he was like, well, I know this girl at my work. And she became our lead singer.
Wow.
And then I was like, well, I'm dating this girl, Kate, plays piano. I'm like, okay, we could use a piano player. And then she was like, well, my sister plays viola. So then we got a viola player. And it's been the same 5 members the whole time. And then the 6th member, our bass player, has changed 4 times.
Oh, interesting.
So it's been the 5 of us for 10 years. And then the bass player's been we've got, finding a consistent bass player is so freaking hard to do.
Why?
I don't know.
What's different about that?
I don't know.
Is that a known thing that it's hard to have bass players that
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, you don't know. Okay,
in our case, it was.
Yeah. Interesting.
But now our bass player, Lauren, she's rock solid. She's ride or die with us. So
cool.
we're, nothing's splitting us apart at this point.
That's amazing. I didn't realize it started at UCLA time, and it's developed this whole time, because you guys have amazing music and also projects that you've done. You did a video for the Special Olympics, a music video.
Yeah, we played a music festival in Houston, and there was a music agent there who saw us perform and was like, I want to pay for you guys to make a music video. I love you guys. I love your sound. I want to pay for you guys to make a music video. So we were thinking what do we want to do? And Rebecca and Kate, our pianist and violist, had ties to the Special Olympics. And they were like, what if we just did a video with the Special Olympics? And we asked her, and she was like, that's it. Do that. We had 5 different options for her, and we started with the Special Olympics idea. She was like, don't even say the other options. I don't want to hear them.
Oh, it's incredible. Because it worked so beautifully. It's really, really beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, well, it was so cool, because then we ended up, connecting with the Southern California Special Olympics, and they connected us with different athletes. And, originally it was going to be a music video, just them and us playing and hanging out, and it slowly became, no, we should do interviews. And so the video begins with interviews of the Special Olympians.
It does.
And then it goes into the
so awesome. What are other projects you guys have done since?
We've done a lot of community outreach type of things. So we did a music video in the Children's Hospital in Los Angeles.
Amazing.
We recently did a music video where we collaborated with an animator that Kate and I had worked with in the past, scoring her films. And it's a fully animated music video. It's called amazing. Upstream.
Okay, I see that.
You should watch it.
Okay, it's on YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. It was kind of the part 2 to a film she made called Noose, which went completely viral on YouTube, about a boy who goes out into the forest with the intention to hang himself. And while he's out there, he hears a dog barking who's trapped in a creek. And instead of using the noose to hang himself, he uses the noose to save the dog.
Oh, wow.
And meanwhile, the dog gives him meaning and reason to live.
That's beautiful. That's the original story.
So that's the original story. And then this Upstream is the part 2 to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
How cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
This has been so
good
much
to
fun.
see you.
Yeah. So crazy.
I know. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's it for this episode of Just Jen. If you laughed, cried, or accidentally learned something, please follow or subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And if you have anything nice to say, then please leave a review. You can follow me everywhere at Just Jen. Sign up for the newsletter. And if you've got a burning question or a weird life situation, you can even ask Jen. All the links are in the show's description. I'm your host, Jenna Malatsky, and this episode was edited by Jacob Mammon and Steven Spies. I appreciate you listening to this episode.